And the new drug today is a new member of the Jags front office, our friend Tony Boselli. It was announced today, late morning, that he is the new executive vice president for football operations, something we had talked about for a long, long time. And so he is in place there, and we'll certainly talk to you about what that looks like for the Jags. That's the story of the weekend of what was otherwise a busy weekend. Let me say this. I'm not an NBA fan. I don't follow it very closely. But that was about as big a blockbuster trade as we've had in any sport in, gosh, decades maybe?
I would say so.
Yeah, I mean decades. And again, JJ, you're more NBA than we are. Were you blown away when you saw it?
Dude, I was shocked. I was at a roulette table in Costa Rica, and my friends were like 3 people down from me on the other side of the table, and I just heard Luka and the Lakers come up, and I'm like, well, they're obviously just talking BS, like hypothetical trade or something. Like, that couldn't have happened. And then literally like 60 seconds later, a guy sitting next to me pulls out his phone and freaks out, and I'm still shook. I don't get it from a Mavs perspective at all, but I can't think of a trade in any sport recently that is anywhere as close to as shocking as this one.
I can't either. I mean, it was, and again, I don't even follow the sport very closely, but I'm intrigued because I think I kind of root for the Lakers. Not that I even care, just because LeBron's there and I recognize the brand, you know. So I hope they're good. I hope they'll
be good now for a long time.
Yeah.
That's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, they'll be good for a while. Even if it's this year with LeBron, and of course LeBron's gonna play till 50. I figure.
Probably.
The Lakers might even let Luka have a beer, when they win something of consequence.
Yes.
Oh, what a while! I thought it was so, but that's not the news around here. But I thought it was interesting. So we'll talk. I saw the River City Rumble, a fantastic Rumble. I saw 2 games last weekend at Swisher. JU blew a 24-point second-half lead and wound up losing to Gulf Coast. And then, Hays, on Saturday night, UNF was up 24 on JU in the second half. And JU got it to 3 and had 2 3-pointers at the end to tie it and missed them both. 2 crazy games. But give UNF credit. They won 2 games in the week, 1 overtime, 1 nail-biter against JU. JU lost both games, so all of a sudden those ASUN standings get a lot closer. So it was fun being at the Rumble. A great crowd, students everywhere. It was really a fun night.
Huge win for UNF.
Yeah, it really
to get to 5-5 in the league, and I think JU. Again, it's February. Everybody's going to have a bad performance, a bad week, and it's something that my guess is they'll bounce back from.
Yeah, and I think so too. The Gators get walloped. Not surprised they lost. They weren't competitive. It's the first time all year they haven't been competitive in a game. But they were. I don't think they were going to win at Tennessee, no matter how many Tennessee guys were out. It was just how the sports sets up that way sometimes. The bigger concern, I think, is Walter Clayton might not play tomorrow night. Have you seen that? That he's hobbling around with that. I tell you what, even against Vanderbilt, without Walter Clayton, you're not. I don't know, man.
Vanderbilt will win.
Yeah,
well, unless Florida finds the edge that Tennessee had.
But to your point, though, that's right.
Tennessee was like, it doesn't matter who's out. We're winning this game.
That's exactly right. And it would not have mattered what. They were going to win that game. And unless Florida finds that edge, they could lose without Clayton. So we'll certainly talk about that. But the big Leonard Hamilton, by the way, it was announced he won't return to FSU for his 98th year as the FSU coach. So that's been announced. So we'll certainly get to it. We got a lot of things to get to. But let's start with Tony Boselli. Let me say this. Now, listen, I'm the guy that banged the drum and was saying I really would like to see Boselli get that EVP job for the longest time. I was probably obnoxious about it a little bit, so I'm glad it happened. I believe it should have happened. The way it was explained in the presser, in the press release that came out at 11 o'clock, I think I'll give him credit. I think the release was very transparent. I think he's going to be the executive vice president of football operations. What I take that to mean is he won't be overdrafting players. That will be the GM when he gets hired. He won't be overcoaching the players. That's obviously Liam and his staff, and that staff's filling up pretty quickly. What Tony will be on, according to the press release, is everything else: travel and equipment and nutrition and strength rooms and everything else, communications, all of it. And here's what I like about that, Hays. The GM doesn't need to be worrying about how many buses we have when we land in. Do we have the right buses in Nashville? The GM doesn't need to be in charge of who sits where on the plane. The GM doesn't need to be in charge of does our nutritionist, who's very good, by the way, Mindy Black, but does our nutritionist have the right food in the cafeteria for our players? Then the GM doesn't need to be over. Is the strength coach got the right offseason? The GM needs to be over getting players. Go get play. You have one job, and that is to go get players and to build your scouting staff and to scout players and to bring in and build a roster. The coach needs to coach those players. Having somebody with Tony's, in my opinion, with Tony, and Tony's a smart guy. There's two things about him I will tell you. And I know he's a buddy of mine, so I'm biased, but I don't care. I'll tell you what I think. He's a really smart dude. He built a healthcare business and it flourished, and he was enjoying his time in a healthcare business. So he's a smart guy. He's connected in the league. He's passionate, and he really does know football. He is the perfect guy to oversee all this. One thing I also saw in the release is that he'll be sort of the liaison between business and football, which is good because Mark Lamping did a magical job of handling that business operation and still does. Trent Baalke was over football, and then Dave Caldwell before them. But I don't know that there was anybody connecting the two parts. That makes sense? I think now there's a connector of the two parts, and that's Boselli. So it makes a lot of sense. He's not there to draft players. He's not there to coach players. My guess is, and by the way, all three entities, the EVP, the coach, and the GM, will all report to Shad Khan, which makes some sense. I would imagine that the coach and the GM will pick Tony Boselli's brain. He's a smart football guy, and I would imagine you've got him there as one of the head honchos in the operation. Why not pick his brain about football because he's smart as hell? But that's not his job. His job's over football operations, and I'm happy for him. I know how much this job meant to him. I know I've seen some of the video clips. He's going to be on with Dan and Jeff in the morning, or I guess Jeff in the morning. Dan's gone. But he'll be on Breakfast with Boselli per usual tomorrow, and he'll talk more about this. But I'm happy for him. I'm happy where it landed, and I think it's a good move for the Jags. And I would think that because I've been kind of screaming for it for months now, and I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, I agree. And that's we've been saying it for a long time. The best organizational chart that Shad Khan has had as owner is when he had an EVP, and Tom Coughlin in that role brought a lot of good things to that role, but was probably overbearing in how he wanted to sort of set the tone for the organization. And we've talked about it. Shad doesn't necessarily need that in the EVP. What he needs is somebody that can talk straight to him, that he knows, that loves the organization, wants to see the organization win at the highest level, bring home the Lombardi Trophy. And now Shad, who obviously can't be here all the time, has somebody in the building in Tony Boselli, who is an excellent football mind and is going to be privy to all the decisions and how they're made, and will be able to guide Shad on, this is what's working. This is what, these were the decisions that were made that paid off. These were the decisions that were made that really didn't pay off. This is how it's running. I mean, hopefully it'll be very smooth. Hopefully they'll hire a GM and Liam Cohen will be the coach and the GM will be the GM for, 8 years. And that would be magnificent. But if things start to go awry, then Shad has an EVP who's really not, you're not going to judge Tony Boselli on wins and losses because he has nothing to do with the football operation. So that's the key here, is he's always going to be in place. And that's what Shad needs. Shad needs somebody that can be eyes and ears, that isn't making decisions, and can relay the really accurate information and not get a spin of, well, here's how I'm going to spin my side, and then, with maybe somebody else who doesn't really lobby for himself, and so it'll just be a more organized, efficient structure, and it'll make Shad a better owner having Tony. It'll make the Jaguars better having Tony, and hopefully it'll make Liam Cohen and the new GM better having Tony. It should, and so yeah, I mean, I think again we've talked about the excitement from the moment that Trent Baalke was fired, and this just continues to build upon that excitement and enthusiasm.
Yeah, the important thing, and you're right, he can certainly be a good sounding board for Shad or someone to share his opinions with Shad. But I think the two most, as I see this, as an outsider just watching it, the two most important things I see is A, he can manage a lot of the stuff that the GM now doesn't have to manage.
Yeah, they've even got like team security on here as one of Boselli's responsibilities.
Yeah, I think everything other than drafting players, as I understand this, as I read it, everything other than drafting players and coaching players falls under Tony's watch. And I think and it's so good that, and listen, dude's been around the whole time. He's been on staff with them in various capacities. He's in the building. He knows how it's supposed to look. I can tell
he's heard all the complaints.
Yeah.
So he knows exactly what everybody needs.
That is certainly what they want, right? That's exactly right. So but he's been part of it. He's on the bus every week. He's on the plane every week. He's around it. So and listen, dude's a smart guy. I mean, he's really. I mean, if you had seen how he built his healthcare business and what that monster business that thing became. And that was under his watch. And so this is a really smart, accomplished business person, not just a really good football player. It's a really smart, accomplished business person that now is in the mix running the Jets. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the Jags. I think that the most important thing, Hays, and you've talked about it at length, this alignment, real alignment, where we're all pulling in the same direction. And if there's disagreement, we solve it respectfully, and we get to a consensus, and we help each other through with these decisions. I think this is a really good starting point for that. I think there was a clear reset when you move on from your coach and your GM. That means you're also moving on from a lot of assistant coaches, right? You're moving on from other people in the organization. It's the perfect time for a reset. The three most important people on that football side now will be Tony Boselli, Liam Cohen, and the general manager that they bring in. And they'll be equally important, I believe, as they kind of chart the way for this football operation, and I really do believe that. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy it happened. I think it's a win for everybody. Now the next thing is go find the general manager. I think as Tony, as the release said, and I think as Tony will tell you, as he said in some of his interviews, and I think he'll say with Jeff tomorrow morning, that's now the priority, is you go and try and pursue who that general manager is. What are you looking for in a general manager? How soon? You heard Shad say it in the press conference, and we now know the numbers or the dates. It's got to be in place by February 28th, or you have to wait till after the draft. But now you got February 28th. You got a lot of time. That's 25 days.
There's no reason they won't be able to make this hire in the next 10 days.
Yeah. Right. And you have 25 days to do it. So you have plenty of time to get the general manager hired. Meanwhile, you're hiring coaches, you're hiring assistant coaches. So I like where all this is going, and I feel good about all of it, and I'm happy for Tony, and I'm happy for the Jaguars. So we'll talk more about that as we continue on. A lot of things go on in the world of sports. We'll take a break. We'll start it with some Jaguars talk, some assistant coaches in the fold. Are we getting an idea of the trend or the way Liam Cohen wants to take this thing? We'll certainly talk about that coming up as we move along today. And later on, I want to talk about Luka a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. It's right around the corner. The big loss for the Gators, and will they have Walter Clayton, and how significant a loss would that be? The Rumble. A lot of stuff going on over the weekend. Oh, by the way, in 2 days, Hays will be live at the Walk-Off Charities baseball tournament, which I'm so excited about. 16 baseball teams, 16 high school baseball teams battling it out all week long. Next week, 16 high school softball teams battling it all out all week, and I'm excited about both events. We'll be out there for the Wednesday event, or the Wednesday playing of this event, so I'm so excited about that. But let's talk some Jaguars football after this. Glad you're with us on a Monday. Our Monday's always brought to you by The Best Bet. The Best Bet with 3 locations on the First Coast, St. Augustine, Orange Park, and here in Jacksonville. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Can you crack the code?
I'm sending you the code.
1010XL. Isolating his radio.
925.
The clock is ticking.
FM. Get all that?
This is Hays Carlyon for Physician Guided Weight Loss. I'm down 20 pounds already thanks to Physician Guided Weight Loss. I feel great, and it's all thanks to them. Their amazing technology, fast setup, friendly staff, and proven results sold me. They can help you too, and it's affordable with firm pricing. No rising costs as you go. If you're like me and looking to kick off the new year with a leaner body, call my friends at Physician Guided Weight Loss at 257-4344. That's 257-4344.
Frank Frangie here. It's New Year, new truck time at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnick. Nimnick Chevrolet is more than just trucks. They've got the largest inventory of new Chevy SUVs in town right on their lot. Visit the showroom on Cassett Avenue. NimnickChevy.com. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it," and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Picking here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
These days, we do everything from our phones. That's why JEA's app lets you manage your utility services anytime, anywhere. Whether you want to view your account, pay your bill, sign up for programs, or check the outage map, you can do it all right from the app, when and where it's convenient for you. Because we want to make doing business with us as quick and easy as possible. Download the free JEA app from the App Store today. JEA, your community, your utility.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success. The Florida Forum Speaker Series welcomes novelist and journalist Carl Hyacin, February 12th. For your chance to win tickets, text FORUM to the text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
Visit Monahan Jewelers now through Valentine's Day for savings on all GIA certified diamonds and discounts store-wide up to 40% off and interest-free financing on all purchases. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. Monahan's has it all. We're not a chain store. We're your local family jeweler since 1977 with a world-class inventory of fine jewelry and diamonds and gemstones available in any size. Support your local family jeweler now through Valentine's with huge savings on our inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, what's the matter?
I don't know about this air conditioner, Jason.
You know, my job is actually to...
I mean, 1 minute it's working, and the next minute it's not working. And every time I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back to a nice, cool oasis or a steaming cesspool of sweaty garbage fumes and dog farts, and then I'll never get to sleep. And I'll be too late to call someone. And what if I've got a big meeting the next morning and I haven't slept a wink?
Okay, dude. Stay cool. Or at least stay cooler.
But
Bueller Air and Plumbing can figure out why your AC only works sometimes and not all the time. We fix that kind of stuff every day.
You mean you can...
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all your time worrying about an air conditioner that can totally be fixed, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
I thank our friends from the Best Bet. Man, you have a good time. You head to the Best Bet. They do so many really cool things over there. Clockwork Cash Out is back this coming weekend at all 3 Best Bet locations. Play any of the table games from 6 at night until midnight, Friday and Saturday nights, and have your chance to win. You ready for this? $300 every 15 minutes. That's exactly right. Every 15 minutes. All kind of fun stuff going on at the Best Bet. Love the Best Bet. Our friends from the Best Bet. Go visit them if you've got an opportunity to. Awful lot of fun at the Best Bet. All right, let's get back to the Jaguars. You know the news of the day. Tony Boselli announces the executive vice president, which I think it makes a lot of sense, and I love the way they're doing it. One more time. According to the release, Tony, the new GM who's not yet been hired, and Liam Cohen, the head coach, will all report to Shad Khan. None of them will report to each other. Tony will be over all the operations, and that is to include, and this is straight from the release, it'll be over all the operations to include player engagement, football technology, football travel and logistics, security, I can get it out, I promise, and football communications. What that means is GM go get the players, coach the players, and let Tony run the operation. And I think it makes a lot of sense. So we talked about it in our first segment, but I think it's a great idea. I think he's the perfect guy for it, and I think it's going to work out very well. So I'm glad he's in place, and I'm glad that's going to happen. So Tony Boselli, the executive vice president. Having said that, let's move on. The staff's filling up. Any trends for you at the staff? Anything jump off the page for you when you see?
Just the youth and inexperience. What you're seeing is, assistant position coaches getting to now be position coaches, which, is good. It's, it's good they're getting the chance. It's good Liam Cohen is going that route in terms of energy and exuberance and things like that. Obviously you worry about just with the whole operation of the Jaguars, you worry about the inexperience because everybody's in a role that they've never really done before. And I would assume the general manager is going to fit that mold as being a first-time general manager. So it's a lot of firsts with everybody. And normally that goes one of two ways. Either it's a disaster or it's spectacular. It's usually not a lot of middle ground with that. And I'm optimistic that this will work and that Liam Cohen is the right guy. And I think Liam Cohen is looking for coaches that think like him, that have never won anything of consequence because he's never been a head coach. And it's their chance to go live out their dream. It's not like, well, we've already accomplished something. Now let's see if we can replicate it. I'm not sure there's the same energy there. I think there can be, but I do think there's something very potent in young people that have never done it yet to achieve their dream. And I think, again, Liam Cohen, he has my full confidence. So if Liam Cohen wants to, hire assistant position coaches to now be his position coaches, I have no problem with that. I mean, they'll have a lot of new and, hopefully exciting ideas that, will be compelling for the players and motivate them.
There is an energy, isn't there? There's an energy to newness and to new people doing it. I will say this, asking around the little bit I could, the people that I know in the league, people I know in the league and people I know in college football, I'll say this, Anthony Campanile, boy, does he come highly recommended. Now we'll see. Listen, I probably said the same thing about Ryan Nielsen, if I'm being honest. All right. Now Ryan Nielsen was pro guy all the way, so I didn't know a lot of college people that knew him. Campanile's been in both. But I will tell you, Hays, people the people you speak with, and we'll see if it's right or not. You never know how somebody, to your point, you never know how somebody new to the job will do in the job. But I can tell you, boy, oh boy, is he highly regarded. There apparently, and I didn't know this, I never saw the name before, but that was apparently a guy that a lot of folks had a lot of interest in. And I didn't know that. And I really didn't know that. So we'll see. We'll see is the what's left, the hires of significance, obviously general manager, also offensive coordinator. The only names I've seen are Grant Udisky from the Vikings and Nate Shieldhouse from the Rams. Am I missing?
They're both too old.
Yeah, they're both very young.
Yeah, one's 20. One's 28. It's too old.
Yeah, that's right. There's
Pritchard from Washington.
Mia just walked in. You're right, Mia. Pritchard from Washington is the other one that got interviewed. But I haven't seen a lot of names. So and you're right. It's a young group, and it's a young.
The bios aren't very thick on any of these people.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, hopefully they'll write a great chapter here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and I will tell you, and who knows if Shieldhouse gets it, I will tell you the people that I knew at Ron Zook, who coached him, and the people that knew him at Illinois rave about him. Now listen. People these days don't say negative things, so anyone you talk to that knows them generally are going to rave, but they rave about Shieldhouse. Then again, I don't know if Shieldhouse is getting the job or not, so we'll see. But I'm with you. I like the new. And I said this yesterday or Friday on the show, Hays. I tend to be a positive guy. I tend to think the glass is half full. That's just kind of my nature, and I hope I'm never not that way. But yeah, I'm kind of excited too. I really think the Boselli hire is a good hire. I think the reset, the culture in the building, kind of creating that. Here's what I think Tony will have a big hand in finding a way to create that culture, even though all three are going to over different areas and report to Shaw differently. I know how badly Tony wanted that gig. And so I heard him say on video a couple times today already on some of his interviews that he wouldn't have, this is the only job he would, and I believe that. He would not have taken, I said this one time about Tim Kost, the JU president. All right, and I know Tim, he's a great president. He's the president of JU. Tim played baseball for JU. He was a pitcher, good pitcher. And then he went into private business and worked at Pepsi, and that's where he did most of his work, and made a bunch of money and was wildly successful at Pepsi. And then he wound up being the JU president, a job he really wanted. But Hays, Tim wasn't a guy that was ever going to, he wasn't a guy that was going to apply for 5 different university president jobs and take the best one. The only university president job he wanted was JU. That was his alma mater. He wasn't a guy that was trying to become a university president. He was very successful in private business. He wanted to be the JU president because that school was near and dear to his heart. Well, Tony's like that. Tony said today in one of his interviews, and I saw it, he wasn't going to go be the executive vice president of the Panthers if the Jaguar thing didn't happen, or the Saints. His goal in life wasn't to be an executive vice president in football. His goal in life was to be in part of this organization, this operation, to be the EVP here, not somewhere else. And that's one of the reasons I think he's very honest about that. I think he's a very transparent guy, and I think he's going to do it.
Well, and I think it's good, too, that the fans finally have a guy that they know is like them in a position of leadership with this organization. Point. They just have never had it. You look at the hire Shot has made, and it's not to fault him. That's not normally how things are. Normally you don't have somebody with a personal tie. But I think because it's gone so poorly here for 10 plus years, I think having somebody in place now in a leadership position that the fans, Tony Boselli's been out with these fans for decades. He's about as public a Jaguar as there is. If you're a Jaguars fan, chances are you've met Tony Boselli probably multiple times. And I do think that's important and Tony's been obviously on radio for many years and has conveyed a lot of opinions. And, so I think fans look at Tony as he's going to take good care of us. This is somebody who is thinking of us. And I think that's really important for the Jaguars.
You made a great point. The first thing you said in that take, he's one of us. That is a great point. And fans trust him, and that's exactly right. So anyway, I like what I think Liam's doing with the staff. Again, Campanile, we'll see if he's as good as, but he's the, you talk to these people, buddy, he is the Sean McVay of defense. If you the people I've spoken with, I hope it's true. I guess we're about to find out. And again, he just hired they just hired a defensive coach from that same Green Bay staff. So we'll see kind of where all that goes. We'll go through the list of assistant coaches we already know about. Richard Angulu kept as the tight ends coach, good coach. You already knew that Heath Farwell is going to still be here as the special teams coach. So Matt Edwards is now the defensive line coach, a former Bills defensive line coach. So the names are kind of coming together, and we'll kind of go over all of them a little bit later on in the program. Let's take a break. Let's get to some college basketball after this. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Now, another classic moment in Jags history.
Palmer to throw, and he's sacked back at the 11-yard line. And it's the massive tackle, Marcus Stroud.
Jaguars pride forever. 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
I'm Holt Harrell. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were shocked that some lawyers get more from a case than their own client. After paying bills and costs, if we are supposed to get more than a client, we won't. That's the Harrell and Harrell promise. When we say that we treat our clients like family, we mean it. If you've been in an accident, call us today. 251-1111. Harrell and Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Attention homeowners, Chelsea here. For a limited time, Renewal by Andersen is making it easy to upgrade your home during our free window month. When you buy 4 windows or patio doors, you'll get 1 free. Our exclusive Fibrex material delivers the perfect combination of energy efficiency, durability, and style. Perfect for your home makeover this season. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation today. Renewal by Andersen, the better way to a better window. Restrictions apply. See website for details. License number CGC 1527613.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Best Bet is number 1. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play 1 card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. This Sunday's the big game. Look, don't blame me. This would be much easier if I could say this has finally come. Parties, football, libations, food, all the festivities we welcome every February. The question is, what if you're trying to lose weight but still enjoy watching this with friends? The answer? Nothing. As I've told you before, Awaken 180 is built for real-life scenarios. The reason Awaken 180 is now in their 9th year and growing nationally, the program works. Eat wings and meatballs while watching the Super Bowl. Have a beverage while betting on the Super Bowl. Live your life while enjoying the Super Bowl. I think you get the point. Whether you're in the weight loss phase or in free lifelong maintenance, Awaken 180 won't get in the way of enjoying the big game. Reserve your consultation today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 for Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
If you're getting engaged this Valentine's Day, Beards Diamonds has Jacksonville's largest selection of engagement rings, lab-grown diamonds, and GIA-certified loose diamonds, even Rolex watches, all at the lowest prices guaranteed.
At the St. John's Town Center or shop online at beardsdiamonds.com.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hair4me.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Sunday is the big game, and Best Bet's giving away big money. $1,000 high hands every 30 minutes from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine. I'll say it again. It's on the day of the big game. Best Bet's giving away big money. $1,000 high hands every 30 minutes. That's a lot of money. Head to the Best Bet and make some of that cash today. Frangie in Carlyon. JJ LaSelva here back from Costa Rica. How was Costa Rica? Good?
Costa Rica was great. It was very hot.
Yeah.
It was my first time in the Pacific Ocean. It was great. It was just fun to get away. Nice little bachelor party with my buddies from Ocala. But it's good to be home. And I brought some amazing weather with me. You are welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
When I left, I was in a sweater and long pants, and I came back in shorts last night.
It has been gorgeous, hasn't it? It has been absolutely gorgeous.
This is what Florida's really about right here.
Yes, I do want to remind you, by the way, I said it a moment ago, we'll be out at the Walk-Off Charities baseball tournament to kick off the high school baseball season. 16 teams in play. We'll be out there for the Wednesday play, and 75 and not a cloud in the sky.
Is this the best baseball weather of all time?
It's fantastic.
It's
and
amazing.
it's 75 degrees, Hayes, for you and me out there at that ballpark.
Can't wait.
Wish we could drag JJ out there with us, so it'll be absolutely fantastic. No question about it. Let's start with the Gators. Interesting game. You knew Tennessee would be revved up. They're really good defensively anyway. They laid it to the Gators. They beat them by 20. Funny sport, isn't it? You win them, you beat someone by 30, and then you lose to them by 20. Florida never found a rhythm offensively. I thought Florida lacked some energy. Florida almost looked tired a little bit in that game. Tennessee had great energy, even though they were playing without. I thought all along they were going to win the game. When I saw they didn't have Sakai Ziegler, then I thought, you know what? Maybe Florida will win.
Who apparently is Michael Jordan because they showed him 87 times throughout the broadcast.
We were laughing, a bunch of us watching together. If you had a drink every time they showed the guy Ziegler,
you'd still be in a coma.
You couldn't drive for a week.
Yeah,
I mean, it was really.
I've never seen anything like it. The director must say, "A camera on Ziegler."
Yeah.
Give me Ziegler. It's like we're just going to time. I need to see Ziegler.
Give me Ziegler. So.
Camera 2 on Ziegler.
It was amazing how many times
it was preposterous.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, I was like thinking, is this Michael Jordan that Tennessee doesn't have playing today? Because that's how it's being portrayed.
But Florida didn't play very well, and I am concerned. Clayton's been really good, really good. One of the best players in the SEC. Clearly Florida's best player, best scorer. But does he look like he's tired, running out of gas at all? Have you sensed that, or maybe he just plays? Maybe he has a casual playing style.
Yeah,
and
I
haven't.
That's it. No, I haven't
noticed that.
I know that Todd Golden has talked about Will Richard was banged up and that they needed the bye. Collectively, but that Will Richard had been battling through something.
Yeah,
Clayton, I don't know that I had noticed as much of the fatigue, but now you really worry because. Yeah. How long is it? I mean, Golden said today he expects Clayton to play tomorrow, so hopefully
we'll see.
He'll be okay. But I mean, we've talked about it. This is not a deep team.
Right.
If they lose Walter Clayton, they go from being a 2 seed to a 6 seed quick.
Yeah, and not only that, but it is a team now, and you've made the point about the way games start. it is a team that doesn't often find an offensive rhythm.
Yeah.
Their bigs are as good as their bigs are at rebounding and defending, and they run the floor and they hustle. They don't finish. So the bigs can't finish. So there's when the ball goes inside, you're better off them kicking it back out to one of those guards for a three because they're not good at finishing around. How many balls have rolled off the rim, jump hooks and layups, and they're just not good at finishing. I tell you, though, and I'm glad you said that maybe Richard is injured. I don't want him to be injured. But the most discouraging thing to me was him on Saturday. I
made no effort to get into the game.
Yes.
Martin at least tried.
Correct.
He just stunk.
Correct. I can live with I'm 1 for 12 because I'm playing lousy. I can't live for 0 for 2 because that means I'm not. I mean, I throw up some bad shots. You're one of the best players. If you're one of the best players, I've always said this with a good player. I'd rather my good player be 1 for 2 than 1 for 12 than 1 for 2. And I was that was weird. Did he? I mean,
it was like he just wasn't mentally
right
in Knoxville.
I mean, Elijah Martin didn't disappear. He just played bad.
He just had a horrible game.
Yeah, but he was in the midst of it. It just didn't go well for him.
He was trying. He was terrible on defense too. I mean, he played enough game, but he was at least trying. He was engaged. Be active.
Yeah. Richard. So you saw it the same way I did.
Yes.
Richard. He took 2 shots. There should never.
I want to say he'd only taken 1.
Yeah.
With 6 minutes to play in a game that was now over.
Yeah.
Because at the time, Martin and Richard only scored a combined 2 points. They ended up with more than that.
Yeah.
But in terms of when the game, I stopped thinking the game was in doubt with 5 minutes left. And at that point, they had 2 combined points.
Right.
Will Richard and Elijah Martin. Florida will never win a game where that happens.
And again, let me be clear about this. I went back and forth on X or Twitter with a guy. Didn't go real back and forth, but one of the Florida fans lost his mind and said, unacceptable. By the way, I'm always amused when a fan says unacceptable. It's more college fans than it is pro fans, but unacceptable. I said they're 18-3.
Right.
Their 2 previous losses were by a combined 7 points.
This is the number 4 team in the country, according to Nat.
They finally played a bad game. You can't say unacceptable.
Right.
Okay. I mean,
they played lousy.
Yeah, they played lousy, and they were due to play it. But anyway.
By the way, I think I've got it in headlines because we got another edition yesterday. Yeah. But if you were in the AP top 16 this week, I mean, you got massacred.
Right.
I can give you the stat right here. Let's see where it is in terms of, obviously Florida lost. They were 5. So 9 of the top 16 teams in the AP poll lost this past weekend, including 6 at home.
Yeah.
So
right.
It was just one of those crazy Saturdays in college basketball.
Right.
Now Florida played awful.
Right.
But, I mean, come on. You can't be disappointed with where the season is right now.
Right.
I mean, we'd all done cartwheels if you had said.
Yeah, nothing's unacceptable.
They're still the 5th team in the country, according to the net.
They're still 5th in the net.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those days.
But the one thing that did concern me, and again, you seem to see it the same way I did, is they don't have inside scoring. No. That doesn't mean Houck can get a couple putbacks and maybe make a 3. And Condon, certainly he can find his way to a 10 or 12 point game every now and then. They're great rebounders. I'm talking about scoring. There's not going to be much scoring inside. Alexis can make that jump hook a few times, but they're not going to score much inside. So they've got to have scoring from those guards. So if you know that you've got to have scoring, I'm talking about scoring. If you know you've got to have scoring from your backcourt, you can't have one of your 3 guards shoot twice. That was, honest to God, the biggest concern to me. So we'll see kind of where that goes.
It was incredible that a team like Florida, and Tennessee is elite, and Todd Golden was certainly he certainly pointed it out. Give Tennessee a lot of credit. They were 3rd in the nation in scoring defense prior to the game, and that number had to get better because they only gave up 44. But Florida scored 41 below their season average. I don't know that I've ever heard of that happening. 41. Florida was 7th in the country in scoring offense and scored 41 below their average in Knoxville. So they just didn't show up. I mean, and it was everybody. Because even Clayton, if you look at his numbers at the end, I think part of that was he was trying to play through the ankle because he got off to a decent start. In fact, he scored, I think, about 2/3 of their points. Because the thing that was so disappointing, Florida, 10 minutes in, I mean, it's obviously a slog. Neither team was playing well.
Correct.
But for the first 10 minutes, you'd absolutely taken it.
Yeah.
I think Florida had a 3-point lead.
Right.
It might have been like 16-13 at that point.
Right, that's right.
But the first 10 minutes, you were thinking, okay, they've weathered it. They're going to get hot. And in the second half, they just had no answers, and Tennessee started to make some shots and turned it into a rout. But it was really surprising that Florida just never was able to find anything that bothered Tennessee. But I don't, as long as they have Clayton, they'll be fine. And my guess is they'll bounce back tomorrow night and beat Vandy at home.
To the A's Sun, fantastic rumble. UNF got off to a huge lead, led by 24 in the second half. JU battled back. UNF hung on and won that game 81-78. UNF now has won both in a row. Now here's how that league standings changed. Last week we did the show on Wednesday at JU. The Dolphins were 7-1 and in sole possession of first place in the A's Sun. Lost a heartbreaker to Gulf Coast when they blew a 24-point second-half lead. Well, Gulf Coast is now in first place by themselves at 8-2. Lipscomb, North Alabama, Queens, and JU. That's 4 teams now at 6-3. And then right behind them, Eastern Kentucky 6-4, and UNF right back in it at 5-5. So it's going to remember, not everybody gets to the conference tournament, and you want to get those home games. So these games are very, very critical, the ones that got away from JU and the ones early in the year that got away from UNF. 2 thoughts about the Rumble. I will tell you this. When UNF is shooting it, it's one of the most beautiful things to watch. I mean, again, it's not if you're rooting against them, but I mean, if you're just watching the game as a neutral observer, when UNF when they're shooting it, it doesn't matter if they're open. And I'll say this about Matthew Driscoll's teams. They look to shoot. The first open look, it's going up. It doesn't matter. They're not passing it around for a better shot. Hays, they were at one point 11 of 16 in the first half from 3-point range. They were against a good defensive team in JU. They were 11 of 6. Think about that for a second. You're 11 of 16 from 3-point range in the first half. Now, they finished 11 of 21. They missed their last 5. But can you imagine 11 of 16 in the first half? And they can all shoot it, man. And I mean it from way downtown. Now, they didn't shoot it as well. JU offensively goes as Rob McCray goes. When they came down the stretch last year in the A-Sun tournament, when they were winning all those games and barely lost to Stetson, their offense was give it to McCray, clear out, and he penetrates and makes something happen. Sometimes he pulls up for a 3. Sometimes he penetrates and gets to the rack. Other times he penetrates and kicks it out. He's their best assist guy too. But they didn't do that in the first half. They were running more of a weave and trying to involve everybody. They got in the second half against UNF, down a bunch of points, and, buddy, it was give the ball to McCray and clear out.
I saw he shot it, 31 times?
Yeah, they gave the ball to McCray and cleared out, and that's what got him back in the game. And so JU needs McCray really dominating the ball. Remember how Zion Pullen dominated the ball last year? Now, he wasn't as good a scorer. McCray needs for them to be good. I don't care if they double him, run a guy at him. They need McCray dominating the ball. And UNF, man, when they're shooting it, and they actually defended pretty well too, but when UNF is shooting it, my goodness, can they shoot it. So a fantastic rumble. That one went to UNF. By the way, I saw this too. I think Alan Verlander put this on Twitter. I didn't realize this. In the history of the series, they've played 44 times. It's 22-22.
Is that right?
That's pretty amazing.
That is kind of like Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
they're very even.
Yeah, they're 22-22 again. If I read it right, I think it was Alan's post on X. They're 22-22. And by the way, we're going to see one on the 20th. It comes up in about 2 weeks. We're going to be at UNF for the second round of the Rumble. So, but been fantastic basketball. JU came back to the pack a little bit. UNF got themselves in the pack. Boy, that A-Sun's anybody's now.
It really is. And UNF is just so dangerous from the 3, as we know. I mean, it's their identity, but they made 15 against JU. They now increased their lead. UNF leads the country in 3-point makes per game at 12.8, and they are lapping the field. Like, North Dakota State is second at 12.1. That's a big difference.
Yeah,
and third is Akron at 11.5. So UNF averages one more 3 a game than everyone else in Division I basketball.
There's 300 plus teams.
Yeah, I mean it's wild. So they're making 12.8. They made 15 the other night at Swisher, and if when they've got that going, they are tough.
Imagine if he makes 11 in the first half.
That's wild.
I mean, again, they're 11 of 21. They missed their last 5. They were 11 of 16 in the half. I was sitting with Gene Fournette and Gary Smith. We were all kind of watching it, and Franny and I were kind of like, you couldn't believe it. It was almost like it was surreal. I mean, but that's how well they shoot it, and they practice shooting it. And you've heard Matthew Driscoll say it on all of our programs: dunks, layups, and open threes. That's what they want. And again, I applaud them because they aren't. Old school is there were so many passes, 4 passes, 3 passes. Make sure pass up a good shot for a better shot. Not those cats. An open 3, and sometimes even a not open 3, and they shot it very well. So congratulations to UNF. They're playing better. They've beaten Stetson in overtime and JU. They had won, so they've won 3 of 4 now. After a little bit of a tough start, UNF has won 3 out of 4. JU, after starting the season 7-1 and winning 7 in a row, has lost its last 2. So root for both those teams. We always do, and it'll be fun to see it when they play against each other coming up on February 20th. We'll take a break. Back to some football talk after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Your home for Gators Hoops is 1010XL.
After a 20-point loss to Tennessee, the Gators head home to the O'Connell Center for combat with the Commodores. Florida, Vanderbilt. Tomorrow night at 7 on 1010 a.m.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. It's new year, new truck time at Nimnick Buick GMC, home of the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. This month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500s or enjoy rates as low as 0% zero APR financing. Yes, 0%. You can't find deals like this anywhere in Jacksonville. Shop 24/7 online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Value your trade and customize your payment options in seconds. Nimnick Buick GMC. GMC, we are professional grade.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A broken pipe? That's no way to woo. This Valentine's Day, don't let plumbing or HVAC problems ruin the romance. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The 1010XL restaurant of the day is Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island, Clay County's first and only craft brewery and sourdough bakery with full table service at Barley and Pie in Fleming Island.
She's seen and heard all over 1010XL's video and social channels.
Whether the big cats are at the bank or on the road, I'm there too. Follow my updates all season long, on air and online.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Hammond, Valentine's Day is coming up. Got any romantic plans?
Dad, I'm married to Clean Air. My plan is to help Jacksonville families breathe easier.
You're helpless, but Clean Air does sound nice. Can duct cleaning really help?
Absolutely. Dust, allergens, even odors can build up in your ducts. Cleaning them now makes your air fresher and healthier for your family. The EPA says better indoor air quality can reduce health risk.
So cleaning ducts are like Valentine's Day gift for the house.
Exactly. Forget chocolates. Fresh air lasts longer and doesn't melt. Plus, we've got a February special, $100 off your total.
All right, sign me up. Maybe fresh air will make Mom fall in love with me again all over.
You'll have to take her to dinner for that, but cleaner air will definitely help.
Fair enough. Jacksonville, if you're ready to show your home some love, Google Zerorez and read over 7,000 five-star reviews. Zerorez.
Spelled Florida backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Cerorez. Zerorez.
The Florida Forum welcomes best-selling author and journalist Carl Hyacin, February 12th. Funds raised go to a Kids Care Mobile ICU, a neonatal and pediatric critical care transport vehicle. Kids Care vehicles and helicopters safely transport more than 2,200 infants and children a year to Wilson Children's Hospital. Get your tickets at thefloridaforum.com or call 202-2886. 202-2886.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
I'm Max Fink, here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update presented by Southern Oak Insurance. The struggling Magic dropped yet another one on Saturday as they lost to the Utah Jazz 113-99, which snapped the Jazz's 8-game losing streak. The Magic are now desperate to get something going as their playoff chances are dropping. Paolo Banchero scored 9 points in 34 minutes, but Coach Mosley has faith that his star, as Banchero settles back in after injury, he wants him to keep his head up.
We talked about it before he came back. Again, the rhythm, the timing, that is going to take time, and not to allow it to derail what he is and who he is and how capable he is. There's a reason why he's an all-star. There's a reason why he's done the things he has done in this league, and not forgetting that. Again, it's going to take some time to get a rhythm, to find that momentum, to get going.
It's 67 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now in St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Frangie and Carlyon with you. JJ La Selva back from Costa Rica. Do you look more tan? Can you tell?
He does. He looks like fresh.
Svelte, tan, svelte, ready to work.
Did you fall asleep or did you pass out?
Oh, I like that. Lots of passing out.
Passing out can be very healthy.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
a trip to Costa Rica. The news of the day, you probably know by now, but the Jags have announced that Tony Boselli, the Hall of Famer, has been named Executive Vice President of Football Operations. And again, so to be clear, they were very clear and very transparent in the release. This does not mean he's the boss and the GM and the coach report to him. What it means is the GM, the GM who's yet to be hired, obviously, Coach Liam Cohen, and now Executive Vice President Tony Boselli will all report to owner Shad Khan. As I understand it, the coach is in charge of coaching the football players. The GM's in charge of scouting and bringing in football players. And Tony, for the most part, is in charge of just about everything else. And I like that. The GM doesn't need to be worrying about, do we have enough buses in Nashville, and is our nutrition plan right?
It's crazy that was how it was structured.
Yeah, and I assume it was. I never really asked, but I think it was. I don't think there was a person over that. So I'm acting like I know. I don't want to talk out of turn here, but I assume that's how it was.
Wow.
And all the other years.
Because
Tom
I don't was EVP. He obviously didn't. Yeah. He didn't have any of that. With Coughlin, it was the football. Football and football.
And I think with Tom, he was over everybody.
Correct.
I got everybody reported to him, and then he reported to Shad. I think that's right. But anyway, so Tony will be in charge. And again, I'm going to read directly from the release. In addition to his role in football leadership, Boselli will be responsible for player engagement, football technology, football travel and logistics, equipment, sports performance, team security, and football communication. So all the operational side. And again, Tony will be good at that. He's a good leader. He's been a leader of his healthcare company and done a wonderful job building that. It's really a very successful company, but he's passionate about this. And I'll say what I said at the top of the program, and Hays made an interesting point too about to the fans, he's one of us, and I agree with that. But this isn't a guy that was looking to be an EVP of a football team. It's not like if he didn't get it here, he would have gone to be the EVP of the Saints. That's not what he wanted. He's a Jaguar through and through. He's going to live here. He's going to retire here. He wants to be the EVP of the Jaguars, and because he's passionate about this franchise, and I think Tony will do a fantastic job. And by the way, he's not over football. He's not over coaching and scouting. He's not over player procurement or player deployment. But I got to believe he's a pretty damn good resource for the people that are over that. You know, and he's in the building right there.
Asked for his opinion, particularly if things get rough. Hopefully this won't happen, but it's the NFL, and you're going to take on some adversity. It may not be crippling. Tony's going to be able to give him a really good answer on, look, this is where we're falling short. Whether that's a coaching or front office side of things. And so it's really good. It was really Shad's blind spot as an owner.
Yeah.
And it's been corrected to his credit. And, it puts them in a good position to succeed because, Shad will spend.
Yep.
And you hope Liam Cohen and the new GM, usher in a new era of Jaguars football.
It is a Best Bet Monday. Do want to thank our friends from the Best Bet. Lucky Seat Thursdays at Best Bet St. Augustine. $100 giveaway every 20 minutes from 6 to 10. And again, Sunday is the big game, and Best Bet is giving away big money. $1,000 high hands every 30 minutes from 6 to 11. Let me say that again. $1,000 high hands every 30 minutes from 6 to 11 at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine. I tried to watch the Pro Bowl games.
It
just doesn't do it.
Yeah, it's not even.
And I don't know what the answer is, because you don't need people as physical and brutal as the game is. You don't need guys out there getting hurt. So for a while we had a real game. Then for the longest time we had the game where nobody really tried, and somebody won 75-70, and that wasn't any good. So now they just said, let's don't play a game anymore. We'll play flag football and all these, the walk race and all. And I appreciate the fact that they're trying to make something out of it. I just don't think there's anything to it. I still think it's a great honor to be a Pro Bowler, to be selected, but I couldn't get there. Did you watch any of it?
I didn't, because again, it's not a football game, and I used to love the Pro Bowl as a kid, but that was a different era, and the money wasn't as big, and the commitments franchise were making to their star players, wasn't as big. So, the risk of an injury wasn't as catastrophic for a team as it would be now. So I understand it all. And I think, I think kids love it. If it's something that, kids enjoy, they get to see, the players in a lighter atmosphere, and, they get to see their faces. They're not wearing helmets and, things like that. Then, it can still have a good place in the game, but I think it's going to need to be harnessed now as something to engage, the the youth demographic, because I think if you're a serious sports fan, there's not going to be a lot there that's probably going to, get you too excited.
All right, we talked a lot about
Brian Thomas Jr. did have a big game.
Yes, he did.
In the flag football.
Right, and he's going to be the Jaguars that were there, the specialists that were there, BTJ being there. Look, the Jaguars have some special people. It's just hard to watch that. Again, a quick update on the Jaguars staff. You know by now that Liam Cohen has announced or hired, the team has hired Anthony Campanile. I'm going to get it right, I promise you. Anthony Campanile is their defensive coordinator. Defensive line coach is Matt Edwards, most recently of the Bills. Defensive backs coach Anthony Perkins, most recently of the Packers. Ten Luckaboo is the linebackers coach. And the one offensive coach we know will be on the staff is Richard Angulo, who has been the tight ends coach. He will remain. The special teams coach, of course, Heath Farwell. That was announced today. Liam was hired. So 6 assistant coaches so far. They do not have a general manager. I would imagine that pursuit will continue this month or begin and then continue, and we'll know that soon enough. That's some Jaguar news. We'll continue to update you as we go along. What did you make of the Luka Doncic? What did you think?
I was stunned, but I mean, just it started to make sense because the only time we pay attention to basketball here for us,
certainly for me and you,
is like the conference finals.
I agree.
So we were kind of paying attention to the first start of the playoffs, and Luka was playing great. And then obviously the Mavericks got hot and won the West. And by this point, we're watching a ton, and it goes to the finals, and we're excited. We're like, hey, Boston, Dallas, this might go 7, might be an epic series. And Dallas just put up no resistance and was down like 3-0 immediately. And I remembered Michael Finley taking the beer out of Luka's hand when they won the West, which I thought was really bizarre.
I remember that.
Really bizarre.
Yeah, right.
And then you had Brian Windhorst, who obviously covers the NBA for ESPN and has for probably 20 years now. And his comments about Luka and his defense were so scathing at that time that to me it was like, he's got to be hearing this from Dallas. I mean, Windhorst can make his own observations, but it was so
good point.
It was so pointed, that it came across to me like, boy, this is probably something that Mavericks brass has told him, and so I was still shocked because you're talking about trading a guy who turns 26 later this month. That's already a 5-time All-NBA player. He averages, the last few years, he's averaged well over 30 a game, and you're trading him really for nothing. You're getting, if you're Dallas, you're getting back Anthony Davis, who's, much older than Luka, and you're getting a 2029 first-round pick. So, I mean, it seems as a novice to be an incredibly one-sided trade, one in which the only explanation would be Dallas could not wait to get rid of him.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I hope they win. And I try to watch a little. Let me tell you about my NBA watching, Hayes. I want to take you behind the curtains here because I know it's important to you. So yesterday, Suzanne's planting flowers, right? We go buy flowers. We go to buy the flowers. Okay, I get a truck, so I get to participate. So we buy the flowers. Okay, then I dig the holes. Okay, this is how we do it. It's how the Frangies do it. Okay. Then I dig the holes. And
the
then
world needs ditch diggers, too.
And I get out of the way after that. And then she does all the flowers. Well, then I throw the mulch. I might be, and this is going to sound bragging, but I might be the world's greatest mulch thrower. Really? I mean, if you got all you're done, you need mulch throwing, and would you say, where do I get the best? Cool. You got my number? Call me because I might be the best mulch. I mean, I may be the greatest mulch guy of all time.
Black cow mulch?
Yeah, no.
Or that's more soil.
Red mulch.
Yeah,
red mulch.
Yeah.
I get either.
Black cow is more like fertilizer.
I start throwing that red mulch. You know what you're seeing? It's artistic. It may be the Michelangelo of mulch. So anyway, I throw the mulch.
We'll have to get a video.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, it's a skill set, and I'm proud of it. So anyway, I'm done.
What is it? Is it the wrists? Is it the hips?
You tear it open.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got to get that bag up on your hip. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
leverage.
And conditioning.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just start throwing, and then you take the rake and you rake. I'm so good. I just I'm embarrassed how good I am at it. So anyway, I'll throw in the mulch. So now I'm kind of tired. I'm going to take a shower because I threw mulch. And so you can't wear your ass out. So this stuff. So anyway.
How many bags? Probably like 13, 14 bags.
About 12 bags.
Yeah.
12 bags. Yeah. So 12. Look at you knowing that. Okay. 12 bags. So anyway, we're done with the 12 bags of mulch. So I get in and I'm going to take a shower, and I just turn on the TV. There's no football on, which is a disgrace, but there's no football on, okay? And the Celtics, and JJ, I don't know if you saw this or not, the 76ers lead the Celtics 70-49.
No, I didn't see that.
70-49. I'm like, okay, I don't follow the NBA. I know the
20-point lead ain't nothing, though.
Yeah, well, as I learned, okay. So, I mean, 70-49 sounds like
it's over.
You pretty much got this one.
Right.
Okay, you play a bunch of games, you pretty much got this one. So,
the way they shoot threes nowadays, man,
right?
It's like everyone's UNF.
Being the veteran NBA watcher that I am, I'll watch for 3 minutes. Okay, then I went to take a shower because I throw the mulch. I got the mulch on the hands and stuff. You got to use the longer shower because you got to get out of the fingernail. It's all part of the process.
Right.
So I get out of the shower.
Did you ice down like your shoulder?
I did the hip, the shoulder, all of it. It's a veteran move. So I get out of it, and then I come back, and I watch, and they're signing off, getting ready to go to another NBA game, and the Celtics win by 10 or whatever. Well, I'm like,
I just looked it up. They outscored them 38-16 in the fourth.
And all I saw was 3 minutes. But I mean, I'm just thinking, well, that must be the NBA. Okay, the Celtics, I knew they're pretty good, and they were down 70-49. And they come back and win with some ease. So
the Celtics are like the biggest 3-point variance.
Right.
They are UNF.
Yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, that's my there's some NBA for you. It's all I got.
I appreciate it.
So, you know what? You need NBA.
I'll have NBA stuff for you in June.
NBA stuff or mulch. I'm the guy to get to.
I think we're going to look at real quick. I think we're going to look at this trade as one of the biggest screw ups in the history
for
of the
both.
League. No, for the Mavs.
For the Mavs, yeah.
Because that's the thing.
He's 25.
Well, and Anthony Davis turns 32 next month.
And Anthony Davis is just like he's a great player.
Right.
He's not. Luka Doncic is one of the greatest offensive players in the history of the league. He's 25. He just dragged this sorry-ass team to the finals.
Right.
And this inept GM.
I agree.
So you think it was personality-driven?
Yes.
Well,
the
would have to be.
If you really think that the Mavericks traded him because of defense, you don't know anything about the league right now. They don't want to trade. They don't, and it could have been ownership saying, "Hey, in a year and a half, you're going to have to pay this guy $350 million. Maybe we don't want to do that."
Yeah. Well, and everything you read, and again, I don't follow it. I'm joking aside, I don't follow, but everything you read said they were fed up with his bad conditioning. Well,
of course they're going to push that.
Yeah, but I mean,
if he's dropping 32 a game.
Well, JJ made the best point of all.
I mean,
he single-handedly took him to the finals.
He can eat a hot dog on the court.
Yeah, right.
If he's
so
averaging 32
I agree that he is, like, if he really became like a LeBron James type, I'm going to put so much time and effort into my body, imagine what he could do. But you got to just keep him around.
Yeah.
He's 25. He's going to mature.
Well, be careful.
You can't get rid of a star like that. It's insane.
Be careful when you move on from great players. That's exactly right. We'll take a break. Hayes has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
The NBA is on 1010XL.
The Orlando Magic head west for a battle against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors tonight at 9:30 on 1010 AM.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Find your New Year's stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a 50% bump on your first deposit. For a limited time, MyBookie will add 50% to your initial deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Chiefs are now just a 1-point favorite in the big game over the Eagles. The over-under is 49 points. There are also great prop bets that you've got to check out. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a 50% bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
I'm Renee Harrell. At Harrell & Harrell, we understand when you've been in an accident, there's a lot to handle. You've lost pay, and now the medical bills are piling up. When there isn't much insurance, some attorneys will pay your bills, take their fee, leaving you with even less than them. Not at Harrell & Harrell. We'll work hard to reduce your medical bills, and we promise our fee will never be more than you take home. Call us today, 904-251-1111. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Happy New Year from Big Chief Tire. Frank Frangie here. Start 2025 off right by keeping your car running smoothly. Whether you're traveling for work or heading out on a weekend getaway, their expert technicians will ensure your vehicle is in top shape. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule maintenance, repairs, or tire service. With Big Chief Tire's trusted care, you'll tackle every journey ahead with peace of mind. Start the year strong. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast orthopedic specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast orthopedic specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast orthopedic specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast orthopedic specialists.
Your new roof from Universal Roof and Contracting can help save a life. Percentage of every new roof this month will go to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. St. Jude's is leading the way. The world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer and other life-threatening diseases. Call 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com to schedule your free roof inspection. This promotion ends February 28th. Universal Roof and Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
Wednesday is National Signing Day. Find out where the top local prospects are headed. Who's joining Chief Osceola in Tallahassee? Catch Decision Day for college sports future stars. Opened by Baker Glass. No one treats you better on 1010XL.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Hey, it's Matt Hays. Around this time last year, I was celebrating. Why? Because I had reached my goal of dropping 40 pounds with Awaken 180. It felt great. We all set goals, but most times we don't have a plan to hit them. So it's not really a goal. I'd call it more of a wish, and we know how that saying goes. With Awaken 180, I didn't wish the weight away. I had a plan, and this time, I knew I'd reach my goal, and I did it. 40 pounds gone in just 2 months. Simple. That was a year ago, and I haven't put on a pound. How do I feel? Like $1 million. Like the horizon line that looked so far away all those years is now right in front of me. And it's a brand new day. And it's time to seize it. Night and day from where I felt carrying around all that weight, having to untuck my shirts, winded trying to tie my shoes. If you're overweight, you know what I mean. Set your goal and know you'll reach it with the solution for weight loss. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harold & Harold. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, we've got a lot to get to today. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. We've got JJ LaSelva back from vacation. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harold & Harold. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, Tony Boselli named Jaguars Executive Vice President of Football Operations. Great move for the Jaguars, and Boselli's role is really interesting, too. Not a decision maker on the football side, but handling really a lot of different areas for the organization.
Yeah, I really love it. I was a big proponent of Tony for EVP. I pushed for it long. I mean, I'm among the many media guys that screamed it into our mic, so I'm not alone. But, yeah, I think it's perfect. I think the way it's described in the release, Tony will report to Shad Khan. So will the GM, who's not yet been hired, and, of course, Liam Cohen, the coach. I think the GM's job will be to go get players and scout players. The coach's job will be to coach them. And Tony will manage everything else from travel to communications to strength, nutrition, security, all things that he can take off the plate of the GM and the coach. And he'll be a great overseer. He's a very good leader. He's a very good he's built a healthcare company. I've said this many times. He knows how to lead. He knows how to build. He'll be a great connector between the business office and the football office, which is another of his duties. I think it's a great fit. He's a passionate Jaguar guy. He's the right guy for it. I can't wait to see how it plays out.
Jaguars receiver Brian Thomas Jr. was able to showcase his skills to a nationwide audience and many of his peers in the league. 6 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns for Brian Thomas Jr. in the Pro Bowl. The AFC did lose the flag football game to the NFC 56-50, but big game for BTJ.
Yeah, you know what? The Pro Bowl doesn't do a lot for me, Hayes. I've said that before. But golly, anytime number 7's around, it's certainly fun to watch him. And whether it's in a flag football game or whatever it is, he's fun to watch.
Liam Cohen continues to build his first Jaguars staff. He is retaining tight ends coach Richard Angulu. That goes in conjunction with retaining special teams coordinator Heath Farwell. So 2 coaches staying so far. Cohen has also hired defensive line coach Matt Edwards from the Bills. He was the assistant defensive line coach there. Cohen has hired a linebackers coach. That is Tim Lukabu from Carolina. He has also hired Green Bay's Anthony Perkins as defensive backs coach. I will be disappointed if Anthony Perkins' nickname around here isn't Psycho.
You got to wonder, right, when you saw the name. You're exactly right. Hey, look, he's moving very quickly. I don't pretend to know a lot about his assistant coaches. The reality is we usually don't know a lot about assistant coaches. I will say this, Campanile is really highly regarded around the league. Of all the guys he has hired, and again, that's his coordinator, so he should be. But he's the way Heath Farwell is respected around the league among those that follow special teams. I think Campanile might be really good.
Big NFL news earlier today. Reigning Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett has requested a trade from Cleveland. The 29-year-old Garrett has 102.5 career sacks and will fetch quite a price.
He's as good a pass rusher as there's in the league. And when pass rushing has never been at more of a premium and more important, he's as good as there is in the league. He really is. So honestly, I can't imagine the Browns will trade him. I mean, I don't know what the protocol is. Do you have to trade a guy that asks for a trade?
It's tough not to.
Yeah, but I can't. And he wants to go to a different. But boy, oh boy, you talk about he'll fetch a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Herschel Walker all over again, isn't it?
I would think it'll be more than what the Jags got for Jalen Ramsey, which was 2 1s.
Yeah.
So I would think you're probably giving up for Myles Garrett 2 1s and maybe a decent player, or 2 1s and maybe a 3, something like that. The funniest line I saw, I think it was Andrew Brandt on Twitter, suggested that the Browns should make whoever wants Myles Garrett take the Deshaun Watson contract as part of it.
Yeah.
And maybe you could. That happened with Brock Osweiler many moons ago. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where Myles Garrett ends up, because I would imagine there will be 8 teams that are contenders that are jockeying to throw picks at the Cleveland Browns to get Myles Garrett. Let's get to the New Orleans Saints. They appear to be locked in on Kellen Moore, the Eagles offensive coordinator, and will hire him after Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, that's where it seems lean. Look, there's a lot of people didn't want that job. I mean, a lot of people said, no. I mean, Joe Brady said, no, I'm good. Cliff Kingsbury said, no, I'm good. Kellen Moore wants the job. You've made a point many times. You got no quarterback, and your cap is ridiculous. So it's a hard job. NFL jobs are hard anyway. That's a really hard one.
Without a doubt. Chip Kelly to the Raiders to be offensive coordinator under Pete Carroll on a deal that pays him $6 million a year.
$6 million for an assistant football coach. Think about that for a second. $6 million for an assistant football coach. Well, I want to give Chip Kelly credit. He was great at Oregon. It really looked like his career was dead at UCLA. He had a dead career. He said, "Screw it, I'm leaving." Went to be the coordinator at Ohio State. Won a national championship. And now pops back up. I'll bet he wasn't making 6 at UCLA. Not there. I mean, most coaches I know make north of that now, but I'll bet. Well, what a resurrection for him.
Without a doubt. The Bears are hiring Eric Bieniemy as running backs coach, so another intriguing hire for Ben Johnson.
Yeah, really respected assistant coach. For whatever reason, never got that bump, did he? Even when he was a coordinator at Kansas City, the belief was that Andy Reid called the plays. He got a chance to call plays in Washington, but he never really got that bump. Maybe this will kind of restart his pursuit a little bit.
Absolutely. Let's get into the Senior Bowl. The quarterbacks were sort of a disappointment from hearing the analysts that were out there. Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart had inconsistent weeks, according to most reports. They had some that backed them up, but it does appear to be a great year for linemen on both sides of the ball, and the running back position is absolutely stocked.
Running back is going to be loaded in the draft. Linemen as well. Linemen always good. It's similarly good. Running back better than normal. Yeah, it's not a good year for quarterback. That's just the reality is the two best quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, whatever order, might be good, but nobody is raving about either. And, I mean, nobody's raving like, oh, my God. And it's nothing like when Caleb Williams or Trevor Lawrence came out. And I don't know that once you get beyond those two, boy, oh boy, it feels like a mediocre group. It really does.
Absolutely. Let's get to college basketball. The Gators can't make a shot in a gruesome 64-44 loss at Tennessee. The Gators were held 41 points below their scoring average, shooting a pathetic 24.5%. UF dropped to 18-3 overall and 5-3 in SEC play, which is good for 5th place. The Gators did stay at number 5 in the net rankings.
Yeah, they've had a brilliant season. That's their only clunker of the year in 21 games. Their previous 2 losses were by a total of 7 points, a 1-pointer at home, and they scored 100 points and lost at Rupp. So this is the only clunker of the year. The 2 things that concern me is they continue to have trouble getting into a rhythm offensively. That's a concern, a real concern. And Will Richard can't disappear like that. I mean, I don't mind Elijah Martin playing lousy. He tried hard. He played hard. He just had a bad game. He was 1 for 10 or whatever he was, 2 for 10. Will Richard took 2 shots. You can't do that. You can't on a team that doesn't have a lot of offensive weapons. Those 3 guards are great, but that's about it offensively. He can't disappear like that.
UNF wins the first Rumble, going to JU and leaving with an 81-78 win. Liam Murphy led the Ospreys with 18 points off the bench, and all UNF connected on 15 threes. The Ospreys improved to 5-5 in ASUN play, which ties them for 7th with Stetson. The Dolphins are now 7-3 in conference and a 4-way tie for 2nd, 1 game back of Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, they just lost 2 games at home by a total of 7 points. Both bizarre games. One time they blew a 24-point lead. One time they almost overcame that. As for UNF, when UNF can get shooting like that, Hays, at one point they were 11 of 16 in the first half from 3-point range. Teams aren't 11 of 16 on layups, and they were on 3-point. And I'll tell you what, when they get it going, it is a sight to behold, man. It is a beautiful thing if you like shooting. And it was amazing how many threes they kept making in the first half the other night. Good win for UNF, no question.
Yes. Significant news out of Tallahassee today. Leonard Hamilton announced he will resign as FSU men's basketball coach at the end of the season. The 76-year-old Hamilton is in his 23rd season with a 434-290 record. The announcement comes after FSU blew a 76-72 lead with just 14 seconds left, losing at Boston College 77-76.
You know, he had a really interesting one. 23 years is a long time to be at a place. Really struggled early on. First 10, 12, 15 years, they weren't very good. When it looked like time might be up, then they got good. And they got really good. Now, a lot of NBA players go through there. Had the great team in 20, but had all the NBA players go through there before and after, which meant let's keep him around. And then they started struggling again. So the fact that he lasted the first 12 years when they weren't very good, then got good for a while. What a career for Leonard Hamilton, though. He's been a head coach for a long time. Still looks great, but it's time. It's time for new blood and for someone to try and rebuild that program.
Absolutely. John Calipari was booed at Rupp Arena, but gets the last word as Arkansas upsets Kentucky 89-79.
They lose their point guard. They're 1-6 in the league, and they go to Kentucky and win in one of the toughest places in all of sports to win a basketball game, and won it convincingly. I mean, they were. Kentucky's emptying the bench at the end of that thing because they were out of the game. It was an amazing. Hey, give Cal credit, man. That was a big win for him. John L. Davis, by the way, the former FAU player who's a teammate of Elijah Martin, finally is starting to play well when he kind of led him in that game.
Yes. Let's get to the NBA. A shocking blockbuster trade as the Lakers acquire Luka Doncic from the Mavericks for Anthony Davis and a first-round pick, among other things. Doncic, who turns 26 later this month, is already a 5-time All-NBA player. He averages well over 30 points a game over the past 3 seasons. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis is getting ready to turn 32 next month.
25-year-old guy who, and JJ made the point best of all, single-handedly led his team to the finals a year ago, upsetting some really good teams in the West. And before the end of the next year, he shipped out. Amazing story.
Let's get to golf. The PGA Tour, Rory McIlroy wins Pebble Beach Pro-Am, shooting a 6-under 66 on Sunday to win by 2 shots. The win was McIlroy's 27th on the PGA Tour. 27 wins, and I watched probably the last 2 or 3 hours of it. Boy, he was steady as a rock. There was some good play, by the way. Team Europe, the European players were very good in that thing. He and Shane Lowry, by the way, best friends who were flying back on a private jet afterwards. He said, I'm glad Shane played well at the end because that makes the flight back better. But, hey, good for I like Rory. Hard not to root for Rory. Good for him. He played great. Yeah, and he'll be here really 6 weeks from now,
that's right.
competing for another Players' Championship, which he's already captured. Let's get into pop culture. Happy birthday wishes to Christy Brinkley, who turned 71 on Sunday.
No, she did. You made that up.
An absolute
Christy Brinkley's not 71.
Of the 1980s. It is hard to believe. SI swimsuit issues, National Lampoon's Vacation, Uptown Girl, Christy Brinkley. True original of the 1980s.
I like headlines, but why do you just lie like that? I don't want to accept
She's got to be 41,
right? I don't want to accept that she's 71. How about that?
Christy Brinkley, one of the all-time greats. We will get you out on our musical note of the day because on this date, back in 2008, Tom Petty performs the Super Bowl halftime show in Glendale, Arizona. An unforgettable game as the Giants, as a 12-point underdog, shocked the undefeated Patriots 17-14. This is Running Down a Dream.
Oh, it's a great song. I saw, by the way, a video of the helmet catch again the other day. Pretty amazing
Unbelievable.
stuff. Anytime you end with Petty, pretty good headlines, I'll tell you that. Well done as always. Back to wrap program after this.
I was blind. Yeah, running down a dream. They never would come.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks rocked the NBA world over the weekend when the Lakers acquired 25-year-old superstar Luka Doncic in exchange for Anthony Davis. This has boosted the odds of the Lakers to win the Western Conference, something Dallas did last year. They are now plus 850, just behind the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. They're also moved up in the NBA futures to win the championship. Now, Lakers are now sixth at plus 1,600. The Celtics are the betting favorite to win the title and repeat as champions at plus 210. Oklahoma City plus 225. The Cleveland Cavaliers are plus 850. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the G-Bank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A broken pipe? That's no way to woo. This Valentine's Day, don't let plumbing or HVAC problems ruin the romance. Whether it's a leaky faucet, a backed-up septic tank, or a heater that's colder than your ex's heart, Duck Duck Rooter is here to save the day. Our expert team will fix it fast and at a fair price so you can get back to the love you deserve. When you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
Happy New Year from everyone at Nimnik Chevrolet. Now look, as they begin 2025, Nimnik is so excited to offer even more choices and better prices for you, ensuring your car buying experience is second to none. And if you're wondering where to go for a better buying experience, it's simple. Nobody but Nimnik. So here's to another year of driving forward together. And don't forget now, in this new year means new truck time at Nimnik Chevrolet. This month, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnik Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnik. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the distance. It boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor, and ask about a terrific low rate as well. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnik Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Denny Thompson here. This is the last week to enter for a chance to win a $2,500 prize over at the new Tyson Sound and Security showroom. I'm talking a 75-inch loaded Samsung TV with 3D surround sound, a soundbar with wireless subwoofer, and installation is included. Stop by the new showroom, check out the setup, and drop your name in the box to enter for your chance to win. Giveaway ends Sunday, so go now to Tyson Sound and Security, 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
Pick an ear for Bowden Eye & Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bowden Eye. Visit Bowden Eye & Associates today and experience the difference. Bowden Eye & Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Mike Dempsey here. Look, it's been 10 years that I've been vouching for my guys at Dandy Boots, and for a decade, I'm proud of my association with a local family business. They make a great product. I've made no secret that I was a customer long before Dandy ever came on board on 1010XL. But I'm thinking I'm due a little Dandy swag, maybe a little love. How about a Dandy t-shirt, a ball cap? So how about it, Thompson family? What do you got going on over there? In the meantime, I'm going to keep eating those delicious tuna salad sandwiches. So guys, keep helping me out and grab a Dandy sandwich today.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
Soccer continues to grow on the First Coast, and so does the need for better coverage. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley
on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour, Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
So, Dad, how many people did we have in the house for the family party this year?
I think we had about 30, but with all those grandkids, it felt like 300. They were all over the carpets, rugs, sofa, and chairs, and the kitchen tile really took a beating.
Sounds like it's time to call Zero Res. The Zero Res text will get the house looking great again.
Folks, if you need help cleaning up after the holidays, give Zero Res a call. Right now, get 25% off carpet cleaning and 25% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hammond, Valentine's Day is coming up. Got any romantic plans?
Dad, I'm married to Clean Air. My plan is to help Jacksonville families breathe easier.
You're helpless, but Clean Air does sound nice. Can duct cleaning really help?
Absolutely. Dust, allergens, even odors can build up in your ducts. Cleaning them now makes your air fresher and healthier for your family. The EPA says better indoor air quality can reduce health risk.
So cleaning ducts are like Valentine's Day gift for the house.
Exactly. Forget chocolates. Fresh air lasts longer and doesn't melt. Plus, we've got a February special, $100 off your total.
All right, sign me up. Maybe fresh air will make Mom fall in love with me again all over.
You'll have to take her to dinner for that, but cleaner air will definitely help.
Fair enough. Jacksonville, if you're ready to show your home some love, Google Zero Res and read over 7,000 five-star reviews. Zero Res.
Spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
CEROREC. Zero Res.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys Locksmith Service.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
All right, where have we been on the program today? Well, we talked about our friend Tony Boselli, who was named EVP today, excuse me, which I think is a fantastic idea. Tony will report to Shot, as will the new GM and Liam Cohen. Tony will be over all the football operations, to include equipment and travel and logistics and technology and communications. And I just think it's a great idea. I love the way it'll work. They'll be aligned. They'll all have their jobs. The GM will be scouting and getting players. The coach will be certainly coaching the players, and Tony will be over all the operational stuff. And I think he'll be very good at it. He's a smart guy. He's a passionate guy. And I think he's going to do a terrific job. So I look forward to that. We talked about that. That was really the main thing. We talked a little bit about the Jags. 6 assistant coaches now are on board as Liam Cohen continues to fill out his staff. There's not a general manager and offensive coordinator yet, but I think that's coming sooner rather than later. We talked about the Luka Doncic trade, obviously. We looked back at the River City Rumble. Fantastic game between UNF and JU. We talked about Florida basketball, Leonard Hamilton stepping down, and that's where we've been over the course of the program today. I'm excited about the Boselli thing. That's been the story of the day today. I like where they're going. Hays, they've got, like we talked about, they've got to get the general manager hired before the end of the month, before the end of the combine, if you will, if they're going to make a move before the draft, and they will. And we'll be at the combine. You, Mia, and I will be at the combine, and hopefully be able to catch up with both Liam Cohen and whoever the new general manager is.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see. And obviously, look, they've got the 5th pick in the draft. So obviously, we will be very curious to get all the information we can from the top players in the draft, and as we kind of figure out this next path. Because look, I mean, this is a very exciting 2 weeks here, and I think Shad Khan now has the best organizational structure that he's had as an owner, because he has an EVP who loves the franchise, very knowledgeable, knows its deficiencies, and isn't looking to be to set the tempo for the football product. And so I think that'll work really well for Shad Khan. I think Tony Boselli will be great in the role. And then you hope Liam Cohen and the new GM will be outstanding young people at what they do. I mean, obviously, we've talked about it. There is a lot of inexperience now here. If everybody is doing their job for the first time. But that doesn't mean it can't work, doesn't mean it can't be a huge success. If you've hired brilliant people that just needed a chance, then they now have it, and hopefully that'll lead to a lot of years of winning football. But it's just great to see the energy, the excitement back in it. It certainly will be a lot of fun. That'll carry over to Indianapolis. And they've now got some time to think about things like Christian Kirk. Is he on the team? Evan Ingram, is he on the team? I believe they both will be, but those are the kinds of things they now have to have a conversation about. Trayvon Walker is eligible for an extension. Do you go ahead and try and get that done, or would you like to see him play out the 4th year and push it down the road a little bit? I would go ahead and re-sign him. Again, assuming he's asking for what would be reasonable for his production in line with the money. But that's a conversation. So it's been a very topsy-turvy January. Now everything is settled. We know where everybody's job is, and now it's about go field the best team you can field. So it's decisions on do you make cap cuts or do you hold firm? And then what are you pursuing when we get to March 14th and the new league year begins and you can go sign free agents? So it's exciting. They've been given a good hand here. Like, they've got a good core. They've got a lot of picks. Liam Cohen pointed it out. We've got 20 picks over the next 2 years. So they're taking over a situation that I think is going to be appealing. Obviously, it's appealing to Liam Cohen and Tony Boselli. But I think from a general manager standpoint as well, you're not handcuffed really by anything here. And so, they have got a good foundation in place, but you still have a lot of ammunition. You still have cap space.
Right.
You still have all these draft picks, including the 5th pick in the draft. And the 5th pick in the draft really can be a tone setter, particularly if they decide that is going to be a guy that weighs over 300 pounds.
Yeah, I really would like to see them. And again, when the new general manager gets in place, we'll be able to interview him and at least get an idea of how he thinks. Every administrator thinks differently. And I would imagine the new general manager will be in here we do know we sense Shad pretty much said sometime in February that guy will be in place. But I'm with you now, and we'll get to that part of the off season. Who do you sign in free agency? Who do you draft? Blah blah blah. I know a lot of people love mocks and drafts at this point. I don't get too caught up into it earlier. Other than every time I see Mason Graham mocked to the Jags at 5, I like it because I think they need to get bigger and stronger. It's hard to find big people. It's hard. It is hard to find big people. And I can tell you this. One thing, Tony, and again, Tony's not going to be in charge of that. The GM will be. Tony will be certainly a sounding board, I would imagine. So it does. So I don't want to make it sound like Tony's going to make these decisions because that's not his job. But I will tell you how he thinks because he and I have had this talk on the air a number of times on our Jaguar broadcast. He's a big believer in big people. Now, again, in fairness to Tony, that his job isn't to go pick the players. His job is to manage the operations, and the Jaguars will hire a general manager who goes and picks the players. But I can tell you, I really hope it's a big guy. I hope they have some big – I say a big guy. There's more than one draft pick. But I hope they go and find some big people. I really believe that. I hope that. And listen, we all know what they need, Hayes. I think it's safe to say they're going to bring in another receiver. I think it's safe to say – they're going to go find a cornerback to play opposite Tyson Campbell. I think it's safe to say they need to get better at defensive tackle. There's other spots, but I think you can throw those 3 out there pretty quickly and know that between free agency and the draft, they're going to address all those spots. So it'll be fun to see, but it'll be a fun offseason. Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more about the Gator basketball game against Vanderbilt. That's a critical game, though.
It is.
Because if you lose that one.
Because you're losing at Auburn. That's assured.
Right, and you play at Mississippi State. Now, listen, Missouri just went into Mississippi State and gutted them.
Yeah, Mississippi State's starting to slip a little bit.
But you still got to play there.
It's an assignment,
And so you're probably losing Saturday, which means if you lose tomorrow night, you're staring 3 losses in a row and another tough road game afterward. So tomorrow night, I was encouraged to hear you say, because I didn't see that he had said it, that Todd Golden said he expects Clayton to play. All I heard is that he was doubtful.
But
let me rephrase that. I never heard doubtful. I heard that he was possibly questionable because of the ankle.
And who knows? That could be Todd Golden. That could be gamesmanship.
Yeah, that's right.
Until we see Walter Clayton hit his first 3 of the game, you're not going to really feel great about it.
Because you can talk all you want about the energy and physicality that Martin gives you and the fact that Richard plays with that great effort and those interior guys defend and rebound. But make no mistake about this. Walter Clayton's your star.
Right.
Walter Clayton he's your best player. If you don't have your best player, your best scorer, the world changes.
He's on the Wooden list.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
a reason. He's one of the best players in the country.
That's right. So if you don't have him, everything changes.
Without a doubt.
Everything changes.
I would assume they would start Aberdeen and then Urban Klavzar is your first guard off the bench, or do you play big?
You'd have to imagine that. Now, it was interesting. They brought in Isaiah Brown. Am I saying it? Is it Isaiah? Is Isaiah, right? Isaiah Brown, number 20, came into the game near the end, and Klavzar didn't. So I don't know if that was a matchup thing, but it's the first time he's entered the game before Urban.
Mm-hmm.
The first time all year.
He might have passed him.
Yeah, he might have passed him. So, but yeah, you would imagine if you don't have Clayton, obviously Aberdeen starts the game, but it'd be interesting to see what happens after that. So, interesting. All right. But anyway, Tony Boselli, the big news of the day. Let's get Rick Ballew's thoughts on that.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Service by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Rick Ballew is in the house.
I'm here.
Tony Boselli, the EVP. What are your thoughts?
It's a good move. Yeah. I think we all thought it was going to happen. And they need some leadership. They need another voice in there. They need another set of eyes in there. And maybe, there's enough respect with Boselli that, I think if there is an issue, you can go to the coach, you can go to the general manager, you can go back to Shad Khan, you can kind of be the liaison. And I know everyone's going to report to Shad, but this is something that had to happen. He's a Jaguar. I mean, when the Jaguars lose, Tony Boselli feels it. Right. So I think you needed someone in that building that regardless of what happens, he's feeling the pain that the fans are feeling. So I think it's a brilliant move.
That's well said. Hayes said the same thing. It's well said. He's one of us. The Jags will feel like
no doubt.
But he's also a really smart guy and a really smart leader, and he's proven that by leading businesses in the private business world. And now he's passionate. So I'm very excited. I'm like you, Rick. I'm very excited about this, and I can't wait to see where it goes for the Jags. Well, what else? What's coming up tonight?
Well, we got all that. Dave Campbell's going to visit with us in about 25 minutes. I haven't talked to Dave yet about anything that the Jaguars have done as far as the coaching search, his opinion on Liam Cohen, and then a couple of other questions about what he thinks they should also do with this staff. So we'll do that a little bit later on. I got a surprise as well. So,
I love a surprise.
Yeah, getting ready to get the week started here in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Rick Ballou goes into the night, and that comes up right now, so don't go anywhere. We're out of here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie.